Hey everybody, welcome to the Volume 2 of Grow Curriculum and Strategy Sneak Peek.
The big reveal!
Yes.
Guys, we're so excited. We've been working hard on this for a very long time, and we're super pumped to show you all of the new features, show you how your feedback has really shaped a lot of the changes and stuff that we've made. So we're going to tell you all the things.
Yes, we've been working hard along with a lot of other people that we've been collaborating with that we're really excited to tell you about and show you what they've come up and what they've helped us create.
Yes.
And so let's just dive right in.
Yes, and if you guys have questions, if you're watching live right now, you can actually ask questions currently and we will answer live. If you are not watching live, then that's okay. You can still email us and we'll get back to you and answer all your questions.
Yes, you can find us in the Facebook group. Just tag us in your questions, or you can email me, Kenny, at stuffyoucanuse.org, and I'll make sure that somebody gets back to you with an answer if I'm the one that can't answer your question. But I think I know most of the answers.
You know most answers.
Elle knows more answers than I do.
I just don't answer the emails. So he answers the emails.
She's doing all the work. I'm answering the emails. All right, let's jump in.
Whatever.
So we've got some new content. We've got a bunch of new content, actually.
Yes.
We've got a bunch of new features, too, that we're excited to show you and tell you about. And so this is kind of like a table of contents about what this video is going to be all about.
You made it sound so exciting. Everyone loves a good table of contents.
Well, hey, if you want to jump forward, you can do that. Okay. But here's basically what we're going to cover in this video today. We're going to talk about renewal details. So some of you, a lot of you are already, actually over 1,200 of you are already subscribers to Grow Curriculum. And you might be asking yourself, all right, so when Volume 2 releases, do I just get it right away, or how does that work? So we're going to talk about renewal details, how to get your curriculum earlier if you want to bump up your renewal date and all that stuff. We're going to talk about the annual planning tools that we created. Elle, you want to just talk about that real quick?
No, I want to show the pictures.
Okay, we're going to talk about it later, but we've got some new stuff that we're really excited about as far as planning goes. We're going to break down the curriculum, all 13 brand new series, what they're about, who helped write them. Our volunteer strategy, we added a ton of stuff that we're really excited to show you. Our parent strategy, our event strategy, our discipleship strategy, and our games. And so we're going to give you a sneak peek at all of those things, all the new things we added, plus just all the things that are coming back that are improved and have new content with them.
Yes.
So we're going to try to move this along and keep it going because there's a lot to get through.
There's so many things.
And you guys have like a youth ministry to run or something.
Right. You have things to do. So we'll kind of keep this to the point. So let's get started, shall we? Renewal details. I don't know this, Kenny, so you have to answer these questions.
Yes. So here's the deal with renewals. All right. So renewals will happen automatically if you're an annual subscriber, then once a year you hit your renewal date. So if you bought on May 20th of last year, your renewal date is May 20th of this year. That's when your payment will kick in. That's when you'll get an email to get access to the new stuff. And so it's just 1 year past your purchase date. If you're doing like the quarterly payments, then it's just, still after you pay your 4 payments. And then when the 1 year hits, you get an email and it just cycles through and your renewal hits. So if you want to move your renewal date up early and you're like, hey, I bought this in January, but I actually want to get Volume 2 in May, then just email us. So email me, Kenny, at stuffyoucanuse.org. We can move that renewal date forward for you so that you can get access to everything earlier. And then next year, your renewal date will be whatever you moved it up to be. And of course, we can always move that stuff around. We've got an incredible customer service team that is working behind the scenes, making all this stuff happen. So basically every year, whenever you purchased, that's when your payment hits. That's when you get access to the new stuff. But if you want to get stuff earlier, just email me and we will make it happen. And I know a lot of people have already told me, I'm moving up. I want to be ready for the school year. So I know I bought in January last year, but I'm moving up to May this year because I want to get everything and want to plan over the summer. So if that's you, don't be scared. Email me. We'll make sure that you get your stuff when you want it. All right, so here we go. We're moving forward.
Great.
Let's talk about planning your year.
Yes.
So if you remember last year, you probably watched, we had like the big board behind us. So you see kind of our cards back there now, but we had a big board and we walked you through how to plan your year. That video actually caught on even more than we were expecting. And a lot of you created boards in your office, which is amazing. And we provided the cards that you can print out and actually put on your boards or on your wall. And we saw a lot of you guys do that. And the feedback was incredible. It was super helpful. Your pastor loved it. Your volunteer team loved it. Your staff, your parents, everybody was just like, wow, you look very organized.
You look smart. This is great. Well, and the other thing too is like, we know we're giving you so much stuff in Grow, especially if you're in the Grow Your Ministry package. There's a ton of stuff. And so what we really wanted to do this year is to make it really simple to plan out your year, how you're going to use all these resources, how you're going to put them on your calendar. So we developed a bunch of new stuff to make that super simple and streamlined.
You guys loved the planning aspect of Grow, and that's a big part of why we created it. So we thought, let's give them a whole bunch of new stuff. So here it is. Okay, so first of all, new calendars.
Yes.
So every single calendar this year is going to be editable. We're going to give you the Photoshop documents. We're going to give you PDFs and a big one that people were asking for, Excel files.
Yes.
So all of the stuff that basically you see behind us is going to be an Excel sheet. And that way you can move things around. If you don't use Photoshop, you can just do it right in Excel. It's all color coded. It looks awesome.
Well, yeah, because, you know, when you think of spreadsheets, you don't usually think of like pretty things that you want to look at, but we really did try to make it pretty for you so that you want to look at it.
So here's like a little picture. So there's a picture of some of the calendars. There's a picture of what the Excel sheet looks like, and you can easily just like edit that and print it out and like give it to your pastor or give it to your volunteers and say, hey, this is the plan this year. This is what we're doing. And so it's just a really convenient way to plan your year.
Or copy and paste it into like a Google Doc so your people can see it and refer to it. We're just trying to make it easy. So
we're trying to make it as easy as possible. So, all right, we're giving you all new calendars and new formats, make it way more editable. Plus, actually, this year, we're going to be teaching you even how to create the boards that we create and how to like go to Home Depot, buy your supplies, what to do. I'm going to do a whole video on that. So that'll be included in your curriculum.
And we're going to do a new video of like how to plan out your year with that board and kind of do a walkthrough. And we're thinking of some ways that we'll talk about later of some ways to make that really easy for you to use. So it's instead of it being like one big long hour video, it'll be in kind of like bite-sized pieces so that you can walk through it with your team a little bit more easily. So anyway, we'll get to all that stuff. But the next thing is we made you these really fun little planning tools. So we have a monthly worksheet and then a weekly worksheet. And these are just blank templates, but it's for you to kind of think through every week as you are planning out what you need to do and all the stuff you need to work through. We just kind of made these for you as like a little like disposable kind of thing that you can use on a weekly and monthly basis.
Elle loves little notebooks. She gets like the Michael Hyatt notebook. She gets like all these little planning tools and like little notebooks. And so we were thinking it'd be awesome to create pages for you guys so that you can easily just have it on your desk, like write down your priorities for that month and for that week and like make little checklists and just it helps you take all of the big annual strategy and break it down into monthly and weekly little bite-sized pieces. All right, next on the list.
Couple other things. I mentioned the tutorial videos already. We're going to get you new calendar cards so that if you want to make a big giant board, you can just print everything out and everything for volume 2 will be on those cards already and you can assemble your board very easily. We're also doing these annual shopping lists and that's going to actually cover every single thing in Grow. So they're going to be in Excel sheets so that you can kind of scan through and be like, oh, I need, like a thank you card template. I wonder if Grow recommended that. And it'll be in a list with a link of where you can find it on Amazon. So just making it really easy and searchable and simple for you to shop.
Yes, we give you so many ideas. And a lot of people are asking like, hey, where do you buy this from? Or hey, like, do you have a shopping list for this game or the series or whatever? And so we're like, yes, we'll do it. We got it. Shopping list is added this year.
Yes.
Comprehensive strategy guides in PDF format.
Yes. So those for all 6 of the areas that we have in Grow, we created kind of a 1 or 2 page overview. So that's something that you can give to like your lead pastor, to your volunteers or whatever, so that they can see exactly what's coming up for the year in that specific area.
Love it. And then also everything is going to be in one-click downloads.
For the whole year.
That was a big ask too. People were like, hey, I love the website. It's actually, out of all the curriculums I've used, a lot of feedback has been it's the easiest to navigate. Everything is laid out so clearly and cleanly, and we appreciate that. We tried to do that, make it simple. But people were still like, I'd love to have a one-click download. Like, I don't even ever want, like, my internet's not good. So I'm going to download this all at home, take it to the church, and we totally love that idea. So instead of like taking, clicking on 20 different things,
individual
right?
series.
You can just click one
Right.
thing and
Well,
download it.
And we've seen like a ton of you kind of build like binders for your volunteers where you print all of the curriculum for a year and put it in that binder. So that's going to be a dream come true for some of you. One document, print, hole punch, done. There you go. So,
Love it.
there it is.
All right, let's move forward to our teaching strategy.
Let's do it.
Now, this is like all of the curriculum, all of the series. And so what we're going to do is give you a quick preview, just like a minute or less on each series and just tell you what it's all about. So we have 50 weeks of curriculum. And let's start. So are we starting in order? Like, is this by
this is August.
August,
starting
okay.
in August. And again, for those of you who've been with Grow, these are our recommended months. You can teach them whenever the heck you want, but this is our recommendation.
Yeah, and whether you start in August or start in December or March or whenever, it really doesn't matter. You can just pick up at any time during the year, but here's all the series.
So the first one to kick off the year is a series on friendship. It is called Through the Fire, and it's kind of a look at how friendships can help form and shape us and grow us spiritually, especially during really difficult times. So we're going to look at some friendships in the Bible that fit that bill. So like David and Jonathan, Ruth and Naomi, and who's our other one, Kenny? Do you remember?
I do not remember.
David and Nathan. That's going to be a good one. And then the final week, we'll talk about how Jesus and the friendship that he offers us is kind of the ultimate expression of friendship, especially during tough times.
Awesome. And Will Cumby wrote this series.
Yes.
So
Love
we're super excited to
Look at
feature
him.
him. He's a youth pastor out of Houston, Texas. And he's awesome. And we're super excited for him to be the author of this series.
Yes.
All right. Next one is Boss.
Cool, Kenny.
Yeah. I used to wear Boss jeans and shorts.
Did
I don't know
you?
if you remember that.
Wow.
You know, it was for like kids that wanted really baggy clothes.
Okay.
So this is a throwback series
Right.
to Boss
Wow.
Apparel. No, Elle, tell us a little bit more. It's 4 weeks on authority.
It is. It's on authority. So this is a series by our friend Carl Romas in California. And the series is all about authority and the things that kind of run our lives. So we'll talk about sort of that tension with authority figures, parents, teachers, but we'll also talk about some idols in our lives and how we sometimes let things like our stuff or our ego or maybe even like worry really kind of control us, and how a better idea would be to give God authority over our lives.
Yes. And Carl is a student pastor coming out of Roseville, California.
Yep.
So excited to have him. He's awesome. And I just want to say too, I'm loving the graphics. Like, we have an awesome designer. He does an incredible job.
He's a former youth pastor. He's now a campus pastor, right? He's like a teaching pastor at a campus, I believe.
Yeah.
Anyway, his name is Josh Gosney. Look him up. He's legit.
Yeah. And I mean, every time I see the series that he sends us, I'm like, oh my gosh, you nailed it. But so this is The Greatest Show. It's 4 weeks on identity. And our friend April Wall wrote this series for us. She's a youth pastor out of North Dakota.
If I could do the North Dakota accent, I would, because I just love it so much.
She like loves to play it up too. Whenever we see her, she like talks in a very, very thick North Dakota accent on purpose and uses the phraseology of North Dakotans.
Right.
So if you're out there in the Midwest, you got April representing you in Grow Curriculum.
Hashtag hot dishes, right? Isn't that a thing?
I think she did say hot dish. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, this is a series on identity, and it's going to be, we recommend it for the month of October, which is leading up to Halloween. And there are some really fun tie-ins you can do because of this like circus theme. So we're going to be talking about like costumes and masks and kind of the things that we do to kind of put on a show. Whereas the alternative would be to find our identity in God. So we'll talk about how like our identity is loved, and that we have purpose, and that we're forgiven, and all this good stuff. So I'm really excited about that one.
Yes.
It's going to be fun.
All right, next one from Adam Mashney.
Yes.
He is a youth pastor coming out of...
Do you remember? Chicago.
I know.
Yep.
I was going to say Willow
Chicago.
Creek. Yeah,
there he is.
I wanted to say Saddleback, but I'm like, no, I know it's not that one.
That's a different
Willow
one.
Creek.
It's a different giant church.
Yeah, exactly. But so Adam is awesome. 4 weeks on others, and it's a series called After You.
Yes. So this is all about generosity. We love talking about generosity in the month of November, as you've heard us talk about before, because it gets students really ready for like the holidays and the service projects and giving opportunities that come there. So it's all about generosity and serving others, and just being kind and compassionate, and what God says about all that.
Yes. All right. And next we have a 4-week series on Christmas from Randy Jones.
Yes.
She is an incredible youth pastor out of Plano, Texas.
Yes. And she's a volunteer youth pastor, which is
so completely
amazing to
volunteer
me.
of
She's
like
a
this
champion.
amazing ministry. But she wrote our Christmas series this year. So Elle, talk to us about it.
Yeah, so it's called The Problem with Christmas, and basically it's just kind of this take on, hey, you've heard this Christmas story probably every year for the most part, especially if you grew up in church. But hey, let's remember that when the Christmas story was kind of taking place at first, it was kind of not what we think of it as today. It wasn't white noise. This was like a kind of a really revolutionary, wild, crazy situation. So we're going to be talking about that for 4 weeks. And like always with our Christmas series, if you guys actually do less programming during the holidays, this is a really easy series to like chop up and kind of take weeks out of if you only have like 2 or 3 weeks instead of 4 to teach in December.
All right. Next one is a series called Change, and it's 4 weeks on prayer from Jeff Eckert, who he leads an organization called Never the Same, and he leads an organization called Claim Your Campus, which is all about prayer. And so he's awesome. I'm super excited that he's writing this series for us.
Yep. So this series is going to be kicking off the new year, and it's all about change, obviously, but kind of this idea that prayer is the thing that equals change. So if we want change in our lives, in our schools, in our families, in our communities, then prayer needs to become part of that. And for those of you who are familiar with our scope and sequence, last year we did a 4-week series just on all 4 of our spiritual habits. What we're doing this year is we're doing 2 different series on spiritual habits, but we're going really deep into 2 areas of spending time with God. So this is like a deep dive on a spiritual habit of prayer. So yeah, that's what our January series is.
Love it. And then super excited for this series.
Me too.
Meant to be about love and relationships. It's a 4-week series on wisdom.
Yes.
And actually our contributors for this one are Tim and Tasha LeVere.
That's
is that
right.
How you say
Look
it?
they're married. They're so sweet.
Yes, they are incredible. We got to meet them at NYWC last year, and we were just blown away. We're like, these guys, we need to hang out with them. And so we're like, well, actually, why don't you just contribute to Grow? And that'll be like the beginning of our friendship.
Right.
So
it's wonderful.
There you go. That's like a little behind the scenes of how we make friends. We're just like, hey, you want to write a series for us? But
it's pretty perfect.
They're actually really cool, and we're excited for their series about relationships. And so tell us about it.
Yes. So 4 weeks on relationships. This is something that you guys had asked us for. Like, hey, we would love a series on dating. So here it is. We are delivering. So Tim is a youth pastor in North Carolina, and Tasha is a marriage and family therapist. So she knows about this stuff. So we love this collaboration from the 2 of them. And they're both youth workers, have been doing this for, like longer than we have. So they're, really awesome. And so it's just about dating and kind of making those wise choices in relationships. So this is our wisdom series specifically on relationships.
Next, we have a 4-week series on spiritual habits called Sincerely God.
Yes. So this is our other deep dive on spiritual habits. This one is going to be talking specifically about the Bible. And it is a series just about how the Bible is God's love letter to us, and kind of breaking down for students what the Bible is, why it's important, and how we really engage with it. And so this series was written by our friend Manyoki Mulwa. He is wonderful. He is a student and young adult pastor, and he's just real killer. So real pumped about this one.
Looking forward to that one.
Yes.
And then after that, we've got a series called Jesus Loves Blank.
Jesus loves, we're going to find out. We're going to find out who Jesus loves. That's the point of the series. So this is a 4-week series specifically on Jesus. We do this every year because, we talk about Jesus all the time, hopefully, but we love doing kind of a really focused time just on his life, his ministry, his teaching. And so, Jesus Loves is a 4-week series on different people that Jesus loved. And it's going to be challenging teenagers to really take some practical, specific steps to love the same people that Jesus loved. And this is by our friend Joyce Del Rosario, who is wonderful, wonderful. She has done a ton of stuff with Young Life. She is from the California area, and she is currently getting her PhD at Fuller, and she's just a genius, and I'm really excited for this.
Love geniuses.
I do too.
Next, we have a 2-week series on Easter. So, every Easter we give you a 2-week series because we know your programming is crazy and you may even only need 1 week for Easter. So we give you some hacks on how to consolidate this just to 1 week if that's what your programming looks like. But Elle, tell us a little bit more about the series.
I will. So this one is called Good Story. It is by Carly Evelyn. She is a youth pastor in Oklahoma. And this is just a 2-week series on the story of Easter. So the whole idea idea is that the story of Easter isn't just any other story. It is actually like the best story ever, and it is good news for everybody. So this will be a great one. And like Kenny said, we'll teach you how to kind of consolidate it into 1 week if you need to do that for your programming.
Very cool. All right, next series is called Family Feud. And this is our family series, so 4 weeks on family. And Elle, tell us a little bit about this.
Yep, this is by DJ Coleman,
yes,
who is
DJ.
Hey DJ, he's a middle school pastor here in Atlanta. And this is like a 4-week series that is specifically about conflict and navigating conflict with your family. And, we thought kind of like post-Easter dinners, those can be kind of crazy. And like pre-summer vacation when kids are stuck with their parents and their families like all summer long, this would be a good thing to talk about and how to navigate conflict and tension with your family.
Next, we have a 4-week series on justice. And I love the look of the series, more than a hashtag. Very cool. Elle, tell us a little bit about what this is all about.
I will. So this one is a 4-week series by Susie Gomez. She is a youth worker and a church planter and a missionary, and she's now a pastor in Long Beach, California. And she is really passionate about biblical justice. So we asked her to author this one for us. And it's really taking this idea of what it means to pursue justice and to work for justice and kind of bringing it to a teenager's level and challenging them to think bigger than just, kind of those things like, oh, well, I tweeted about it and, I feel like I'm part of this cause. But actually helping them figure out how, as a teenager, they can engage with justice through actions in powerful ways.
Yes, and this might be my favorite graphic. It's the last series of the year.
Yes.
It's so cool, and it's called Hear Me Roar, 4 weeks on evangelism.
Yes.
Cool take on evangelism. Why don't you kind of tell us a little bit?
Yeah, so this is going to be a book study through the book of Daniel, and we'll be kind of camping out on 4 different stories in the book of Daniel and how those relate to boldness. And so this is by our friend Harmon Sharda. He is in Alberta, Canada. And yeah, we're going to be walking through the story of Daniel and the story of his friends and how they were bold for their beliefs and for God and how that translates to us today.
All right, so those are all 13 of our series. Super excited about them. Really excited to get this stuff into your hands. Another thing that you should know is 1-click downloads for everything. So like all you have to do, click it, download it, hole punch it, put it in a binder, give all the teaching series to your volunteers if you want to. Super easy. Updated message builder. A lot of people have been talking about how much they love the message builder, and I'm super excited that you guys are using it and loving it. And we updated it to make it even easier and more user friendly. And so it's just got a new design. This looks really cool. New discussion format. Elle, kind of tell us a little bit of the strategy behind, we have everything we used to include, like the teaching discussion or the teaching guides
and
the conversation guides, but we're also adding in a brand new bonus guide, which is our discussion guide.
Yes. So you're going to see a little bit of a change in language from year 1, just to make this like really, really clear. But basically what we wanted to do is to create a format of the curriculum that was really easy for smaller churches. And also for those of you who maybe do like host homes where your small group leaders are actually teaching and leading a conversation at the same time. So we're trying to figure out what to do. So what we're going to do is for actually every single series, you will have 2 different options of what format you want it in. So if you really liked last year's format, which was the sermon and the small group separately, you can still use that format, but you will also have this new option of a discussion group. And that is for, like we said, people who are maybe like 15 or fewer students who are teaching and having a conversation at the same time.
Yes, love it. Super excited for that. That's going to be an awesome tool for smaller churches or for churches that have a host home kind of scenario, or just that's the way you want to do it.
Yeah.
Also, more graphics. So excited for this. So we're actually giving you everything in horizontal, vertical, and square. And just to make it way easier for you to share on social media and for you to use in whatever context you want. And also the same thing for the weekly big ideas. So people have been asking like, hey, I love sharing like the series graphics, but do you have anything more that has like, what the main topic is with the big idea? And so we're giving you the big ideas the same way in all of the different sizes. Really just trying to make this as usable and flexible and customizable as possible for you to use in your ministry.
Yeah.
Another thing we're adding, which is very exciting, is XLS format, which is Excel sheet format for your emails. So a lot of you wanted like to just copy and paste from one document as you're creating your emails. Super easy. So you're still going to have everything else like the MailChimp templates, the HTML. You're going to be able to copy and paste from the web pages themselves that have the emails. But now also we're giving you everything in an Excel sheet just to make it easier for you if you want that.
Yep.
And also shopping lists. So for everything you need to buy for the curriculum, for your teaching, for everything, giving you shopping lists for all of it.
Yeah.
So,
and you know what we didn't mention, Kenny, is user-generated content.
Yes. So here's another cool thing. On the website itself, like inside of Grow Curriculum, we're going to have a new area where if you have an idea as a user, maybe a sermon illustration or a movie clip you used, or just graphics you made or whatever, could be anything for any of these areas, not only curriculum, but anything. We're going to put that in our user-generated content area so you can be able to share that with all the other churches and users inside of Grow Curriculum.
Yeah.
So people are doing that right now inside the Facebook group. They're like making stuff and sharing it, but then it disappears if you don't know where to find it.
Yeah.
So we thought, hey, there's so much stuff that's being created. Let's make an area just for people who are creating stuff to be able to share it.
And you guys know how much we really love collaboration with all of you guys. So this will just be another way to get even more voices in the mix on how all of this teaching stuff and all of these resources are made.
So let's move forward with our volunteer strategy. So
let's do
super
it.
exciting because we added a lot of things.
Gosh. So many things.
People have told us like the volunteer section really has like transformed their ministry because we really give a lot of like really helpful stuff like meetings and discussion guides for your volunteers and ways to celebrate your volunteers and like a calendar to communicate with them and to meet with them and all the stuff. And so part of the feedback we got was we love the volunteer meetings, but we just want more options. And so, Elle, you helped put together a bunch of options with a bunch of these contributors. Can you just walk us through what these new volunteer meetings look like?
Yes. So, you know, kind of the request was, hey, if we could just have like a few more meetings to kind of mess around with, that'd be great. But we were like, we're just going to go crazy here because that's how we like to roll. So we're actually creating multiple tracks of meetings for specialized groups of volunteers. And so each of these meeting tracks is going to have at least 3 meetings in them because if you're following our calendar, you know that we recommend doing about 3 meetings a year with your volunteers. So here's what this is going to look like. We are going to have a track just for rookie volunteers. So those are 3 meetings for brand new volunteers who've never been in youth ministry before. That track was written by our friend Brian Abbey, who has done a ton of really awesome coaching and different stuff, kind of onboarding youth workers over the years. We're going to do a track for small group leaders. That's going to be kind of like group management, conflict resolution, that kind of thing, the stuff you deal with when you're leading a small group. We're going to have a track for up-and-coming communicators or teachers. So if you as a youth pastor are trying to empower other people to teach, these meetings are going to help you do that effectively. We're going to have a series for crisis situations, so kind of those one-off things that you need to really address with your team. We're adding a worship team track. So worship leaders who have worked in youth ministry or currently work in youth ministry have written these meetings to help train your youth worship team. And then also finally a student leader track. So this was a big request that we saw from you guys. It's like, hey, what the heck do I do with student leaders? So we've created a track and some resources to help you think through your student leadership strategy. And just like last year, it's a lot of stuff.
Yes.
Just like last year, we are going to give you those meeting outlines so that you can do those in person. But you know, you can do so many things with those. You can take that content, create a video training for your volunteers and email it to them if you can't do kind of in-person meetings. There's so much stuff. We just want it to be flexible. So you're going to have a ton of content to work with.
Yes. And we know not all of you have all of these different volunteer teams, but for a lot of you, maybe you want to create those. And this would be a great way to onboard those into your ministry. Or maybe you already do and you're like, all right, I want to do it all. And so that's incredible. And we just wanted to give you flexibility to use these how you want in your ministry. But we're super excited to be offering them to you. Another thing that is brand new this year is our 12 volunteer tip videos. And these are just going to be short videos that just give your volunteers some encouragement, maybe an idea or a tip. You can send them out once a month if you want to. And we even give you scripts to make them on your own. So, you know, it's like 2 minutes or less. You can use our videos if you want. We're going to have a bunch of different people on the videos sharing tips and ideas. But if you want to remake them with you and your people, feel free to do that. And we want you to do that if you want to, because we're giving you the scripts to make it even easier. And then also we're doing a one-click download for everything for the volunteer strategy. We're also doing all the graphics again in horizontal, vertical, and square. And, we love the graphics. Josh has done an incredible job. And so everything we do is going to be easy for you to share on social media and for you to edit. We're giving you the editable files for all of those, and really just want to make this as user-friendly as possible. And then, of course, shopping lists for your volunteer strategy. So there's meetings and there's a lot of stuff that you might want to be doing, your retreats and, everything, your celebrations. We give you shopping lists for all of that stuff. And then also, like we mentioned, new, fresh content in all 7 different areas. So those are everything from the events you're doing to your volunteers, to the conversations that you're having, the communication that you're having, the celebrations that you're doing. All of it is going to be new and updated content.
Yes. And you'll see there's a quick clip on here, a little picture. You can see a little snippet of a new celebration idea, and then also a new conversation guide and a new discussion group guide. So we've changed some of those formats to make them easier to use. And then also we've added a brand new volunteer conversation guide to help you onboard those new or prospective volunteers that you kind of need to interview.
Love it. So if you thought the volunteer strategy was robust last year, we're giving you even more things that you can try out in your ministry this year.
Yay,
and of
yay,
course,
yay.
making them easy for you to implement. So hopefully it won't be overwhelming.
Right.
You can just take the stuff that you want to use and go ahead and use it.
And ignore the rest.
Yes. So
what a dream.
That is our volunteer strategy.
Yes.
All right, now let's talk about our parent strategy.
Let's do it.
Same thing as volunteers. We added some really cool stuff, and some of the same things that we did for volunteers, we're also doing for parents.
Yes.
So one of those things are the 12 tip videos that we made for volunteers. We also made 12 of them for parents. And so these are things you can share on social media, send in an email. Like we mentioned, same thing. And we also give you the scripts. So if you want to make your own videos for the parents in your ministry, you can do that as well. And we have 2 new parent events.
Yep.
These are super exciting. And the first one is a Guys and Moms Adventure Race.
That's
Elle,
right.
Talk about it.
Yes. Well, guys, if you remember from volume 1 of Grow, we gave you a mother-daughter event and a father-son event. So this year we are switching that up. We are doing a mother-son and a father-daughter event.
Yeah.
So
mother figure,
father figure.
Exactly. So if they're not in the house or not in the picture, no worries. We don't want students to feel left out.
Right.
So we do make that clear and tell you how to kind of navigate that in the resources.
Totally. So this first one is a adventure race for guys and their mother figures. It's just kind of like a really fun outdoor, if you can, sort of like an Amazing Race style of event to get them connecting and kind of making memories together.
Yeah, and our friend Kent Bergstrom helped us make this, and actually he's a family pastor at his church, and he does incredible work.
Yes.
And he was telling us about these, and we're like, that would be incredible for Grow.
Yes.
And so we're super excited to have that event. And this next event is a dads and daughters dinner date. And this is an event that we did at our church when we were in Buffalo, New York, and it went over awesome. We basically reserved half of a roast beef sandwich restaurant. They serve
Which is a thing in Buffalo.
Yeah, they serve like roast beef and frozen custard. If you are in Buffalo, go Anderson's. You guys know it. Anderson's. It's a very great place. There's your little commercial. But they were very helpful with us, and we said, hey, we want to bring this cool, this event for dads and daughters, and it would be awesome, not only, for our church to encourage our dads, but also for your restaurant. And so maybe you can find a restaurant that would partner and basically give you some seats that you could reserve just for this event. And we did cool tablecloths and candles and placemats and really did it up. And it was also a really cool community engagement, because people that were there just for normal food were like, what's going on over there? It looks like a prom or something. And we're like, no, this is our dads and daughters night from our church. And so it was really a good representation.
I don't think there were any prom dresses that may have been.
Black tablecloths and roses and candles.
Sure.
And it had a really different look than the typical roast beef sandwich restaurant vibe. But anyway, so we're excited about these events.
Yes.
They're super cool. And we're just excited to get these in your hands.
Yep. And then we refreshed the 2 other parent events that we do. So we included an open house last year, as well as the small group leader parent breakfast.
And I want to tell you, these are the coolest looking open houses and parent breakfasts I've ever seen. I love the open house graphics. I love the parent breakfast graphics.
They're pretty good.
Josh, you're killing it.
So both of those have been fully refreshed. On the breakfast kit, we actually expanded that a little bit because one of the feedback pieces that we got from you guys was that you needed a little bit more help thinking through the marketing of this event. So we are expanding that section, giving you some more ideas on how to do that, how to vision cast to your small group leaders. This is, if you are familiar, we've done this event in our ministry like tons and tons of times, and it is such a huge win. So definitely recommend taking advantage of that.
Yes, and we also are giving you a one-click download for everything for parents. So all of the different things in all the different areas, including all the tools and the stuff that we're not mentioning here. And then also all new graphics. So the graphics are coming horizontal, vertical, square. All of them are editable, so you can use them in various ways, edit them the way you want. So you put your ministry logo on them, do whatever you want, and they're all for you to use. And then, of course, shopping list, we're giving you that for parents as well, because there's some events and some meetings and some things that we're helping you figure out how to do. And we're going to give you the shopping list in Excel, so you can just make that a checklist and check those off. And then new and updated content in all 4 areas.
Yes.
So if you used our parent strategy last year, you'll be familiar with all of those tools, and we're just updating everything so that it's all fresh content for you.
Yep. Updated handbook, updated parent survey. Anything that was in year 1, you're going to get again, but just new and refreshed and prettier.
Yes. All right. Let's talk about events.
Let's do it.
So here's a little bit of a list of what's included and what's new with our event strategy.
Yes.
So we have 6 all new events, and let's just look at them really quickly.
Let's do it.
So first, we have this all-nighter event, which I'm super excited about. Our friends Porf and Caleb.
Yep. Look at them. They're so precious.
They are youth pastors in Phoenix at different churches, and they team up every year to do this event together and actually to do a summer camp together. So it's really cool. They're like best friend youth pastors teaming up to do these events. And we heard them talking about it, and we're like, we want this for Grow. Would you be willing?
Us.
Yes, teach us your ways. And so they have this awesome all-nighter, and then also tell you how to partner with other churches in your area to pull something like this off.
Yes.
And so that's a really cool event that we're excited about. Also this winter game night. This is a larger than life game night.
Yes.
And it's just a bunch of really cool ideas to bring games that maybe you're familiar with and make them larger than life or life size, larger than life
Probably
size.
larger than life size. Yeah.
So this is a cool event, and it's from our friend Jenna from Pittsburgh. So get some Northeast representation and Grow too. And Elle, what else do you want to say about this event? Anything?
No, it's just going to be awesome.
Yes, I love the graphic. It looks really cool. It makes me want to play whatever this game
whatever
night
it is.
It makes me want to go to it, find out more. We have the spring retreat from Stephen and Erica Switzer. They are out of a church called Journey Church in Raleigh, North Carolina. And Elle, tell us a little bit about this.
Yeah, so last year we gave you guys a weekend event that happened in host homes for your spring event. This year we're kind of going a more traditional retreat route and going to kind of revamp all of the stuff that we gave you last year for the fall retreat and just kind of expand it. And then we're going to give you all new teaching stuff. So there is a teaching series for this retreat called For Freedom, and that is kind of the theme of this retreat, and it's really just meant to kind of help students go deeper in their faith and in their discipleship and to spend more intentional time with God. So we're super excited about this retreat.
Love it. We have a summer event that you can run all summer long if you want to, or just put it on one night, however you want to do it, and it's called Squad Wars. And this is from our friend Corey Bouchard, and he does an awesome job with this event. Al, do you have any other info you want to talk about?
Yeah, so kind of the way that we recommend doing it, although just like everything, you can customize it, do whatever you want, but we recommend doing kind of like an opening ceremonies in May to kind of kick off your summer, and then all summer long, keep the same teams in place and keep playing more games and doing more competitions, and then doing a closing ceremonies at the end of the summer. So,
Love it.
Yeah, just a fun way to kind of change up the feel of your summer programming. Aside from the opening ceremonies, you can do it all during your typical weekly program.
Yeah, and Corey talks about how like this event is one of his favorite things he does all years. Kids love it.
Yes.
And so hopefully you guys will love it too. We have a summer camp from actually NTS camp, and they were the camp that we went to when we were youth pastors, and we just love this camp so much. They're so creative. They do such a good job with their content and their programming. And so when they said that they would contribute the camp for Grow, we were like, yes, please. That would be amazing, because they just do a great job. So basically, camp in a box. If you don't take your students to a camp and you do your own, or maybe you're thinking about it, this is a great resource for you to kind of pull that off yourself and try it out.
Yeah, Yeah, and the theme for that summer camp is witness. So all of the teaching content is going to be based around that, which flows really, really nicely with all of our discipleship strategy, which we'll get into in a second. But as we talk about sharing your story over the summer, that's going to flow really, really nicely.
Yes, and then the last piece of our events is our mission trips that we include. So Experience Mission is a really cool missions organization. They included the missions experience last year in Grow, and they actually even did more for this year. So Elle, tell us about this year's.
Yeah, so they included more content to train your team prior to the trip, and then just took everything that we did from last year and just made it really, really even better. And then our graphics this year, we tried to make them in such a way that you could customize them with whatever country that you're going to, with all of kind of your details. So it's kind of like this overlay where you can take that little white badge you see and then just put it over your ministry's unique pictures so that it feels custom to your church and to what you're actually doing.
Those are what the 6 events look like. Also, we're giving you same thing, graphics. Another cool thing that we're doing are t-shirt design. So we partnered with Sunday Cool. Maybe you know Carl. He's like their spokesperson.
He's my personal youth ministry coach.
Yeah, he's all over Facebook. He's on Instagram. If you don't follow him, you need to. But they do awesome job. Their t-shirts are incredible. Their designers are really good. And they put together some t-shirt designs for us for all of the events and for the missions experiences and for everything. So you can even have them print your t-shirts if you need a company to print t-shirts. So they make the designs and they print shirts. And so we highly recommend them. Another thing is everything is just in a one-click download. So make it super easy for you. And then we are giving you shopping lists for all the events too, and making it really easy for you to just get out there, click on the Amazon links and buy stuff if you want to, get it shipped right to you, or go out into the world and like the old times.
Who does that?
Yeah.
Who does that anymore?
So that's our event strategy. And here's what our discipleship strategy looks like. So if you're familiar with it, you know we break our discipleship strategy down into 4 quarters. And so we've got 4 all new activities for the fall, winter, spring, summer.
That's
I do
right.
know
Those
my
are the
seasons. I do know my seasons. And so for the fall, a lunch table challenge, which is really cool to get students thinking about how to spend time with others at the lunch table and in their schools. And that's really cool. I'm super excited for that. For using your gifts, a student volunteer recruitment campaign. And that's just, we're including a really cool assessment tool that your students can just go online. We're also going to give you like some that you can print out if you want to. But basically they take it, it kind of gives them some feedback on some areas or where maybe they want to serve in your ministry or inside the church. And they can just screen cap the results and send it to you. And it's a really cool way to start a conversation. Like, these are my gifts. These are some potential places that I could serve inside of the church, and lets you, the youth leader, kind of take it from there and help them figure out where to best use their gifts. So we're super excited about that activity. We have some Bible texting plans for the spring where we're talking about spending time with God. And Elle, tell us a little bit about those.
Yeah, so those are written by our friend Nick Walburn. He is a youth pastor from Ohio, and he's actually created a unique Bible texting plan to go with all of our spring series. So that would be Sincerely God, which is our Bible series, Jesus Loves, which is our Jesus series, and then Good Story, which is our Easter series. So all 3 of those have unique Bible reading texting plans. He's going to give you instructions on how you can actually technically set up a texting program with your students and get them to opt in. And then he's written all of the text messages for you, so you can just copy and paste and text away. What
a cool idea. I love it. So super excited about that one. And then a summer storytelling challenge for the summer. Elle, what's that all about?
That one is written by our pal Alex Street, who you might remember from volume 1 of Grow. He wrote the series Thanks for Sharing. And so what he's doing is he's creating a resource to challenge you as the youth pastor to then challenge your students to share their stories publicly with their group, with your group. And so the idea is that we're going to give you some resources to help you figure out with your students how they can kind of formulate their stories, kind of give them some ideas, and then just get them ready and comfortable to share with the group about what God is doing and who God is to them.
Yes, and another cool thing, brand new to the discipleship strategy. So we included 4 activities last time, and this volume 2, we're giving you quarterly growth surveys.
Yes.
Elle, what are these?
So we've heard this from you guys a ton, that you're like, hey, I love these 4 spiritual habits, but I would really love a way to figure out if they're actually working. Like how, maybe where my students are weak or where they could have some improvement. And so we asked our friend Tosh McGill, who has a ton of youth ministry experience and also has experience in like creating and then analyzing surveys like this. And she is creating a quarterly survey, one for each of these 4 spiritual habits, that you can actually give to your students every single year. So we'll probably redesign it and stuff every year, make it look a little different, but it'll be the same survey year after year, so that from year after year, you can look back and to see how your students' answers to those questions have changed over time.
Love it. Love it. Just get new data, be able to analyze it, be able to see how your students are progressing in their spiritual walks. Very cool. And everything's going to be in a one-click download, like we mentioned. And of course, we're giving you shopping lists for this as well. So really excited about all the new stuff we're including with our discipleship strategy. And then last piece that we want to talk about today is our games strategy.
Yay.
And so we give you 50 new games that we're really excited about. We're giving you 50 new screen graphics. So those are editable. So if you want to change them up, change the name of the game, whatever you want to do.
What is this thing that's flying on Fly Birdie Fly? Is that a loaf of bread? Is that a marshmallow? Is that part of the mystery?
Fly Birdie Fly is actually a game you can play around Easter. And it's like you can throw peeps, you can throw marshmallows. I think it's an Easter one. I have to go back and check it.
You have to make sure.
That's definitely...
There's a lot of games to keep track of.
I'm pretty sure that's a peep, though.
Okay.
I have to see, but I'm pretty sure that's a peep.
Maybe we can make it pink. Maybe,
Well, you do what you want.
Okay.
You can take this graphic.
You're
you can
do what you want.
And maybe
guys.
by the time it actually gets in your hands, Elle will just take control and make it pink. So it might be pink. But so we're giving you instructions, supply lists, bonus tips. Even this year, a suggestion on a calendar. So we're going to put all the games on a calendar. So if you want help to know when to play each game, you can do that. But of course, I always like doing them random. Like, pick a time. If you want to do toilet paper games this month, do all toilet paper games. I don't care. Maybe you have a lot of extra toilet paper. But we give you a calendar, when to play each game. And the games are fun. They come in a lot of different varieties and styles. So there's some large group games. There's some stage games. There's some like in small groups. And so you can kind of break it up, different formats. And we'll give you all the graphics and everything you need to pull off your games.
Yay!
So that is a quick, I don't know if it was quick, but that is a...
as quick as we could.
Yeah, as quick as we could overview of all of the new stuff coming in Volume 2 of Grow. So if you want to order it, you can order it. Go ahead. If you want to order it right now, like Volume 2, email us and we'll make sure that you get Volume 2 instead of Volume 1. But starting on May 16th, Volume 2 will be the only thing you can order new. So if you want to order it, let us know, or wait till May 16th and you can order it then. And that's when everything starts to come out. So May 16th is the date. And if you want to push up your renewal, we talked about how to do that. Just email me and we'll make it happen. And if you have any other questions, please let us know.
Yes.
And feel free to share this with your friends and tell other churches if they're looking for a strategy, an annual strategy for their youth ministry. We just would love to help spread the word and get more churches some cool structure and strategy and systems for all of these areas, for your teaching, your discipleship, events, games, parents, volunteers. It's such a cool, it's been awesome to see the feedback and hear how you guys are using it and how it's transforming your ministries. So continue to give us feedback, and you probably already see that your feedback has helped shape Volume 2 of Grow, and it will continue to help shape what we're doing year in and year out. So hopefully that's helpful, and we look forward to hearing back from you.
Yay!
See you guys.